This island is filled with quite an amount of creatures, and today we are exploring a peculiar dinosaur that is quite elusive to most people. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Stygimoloch. Stygimolochs, they usually live in herds consisting of a small or medium amount of individuals, like here. There is currently 5 of them. There are 2 males and 3 females. They seem to be grazing upon the land this morning. Stygimolochs still live anywhere as long as there's plentiful of resources for them and their herds. From the grassy greenlands of the plains, to the forests of the island, to the magnificent jungles, all the way to the black desert. Stygimolochs are characterized by being a pachycephalosaur, a dinosaur that has a dome-like structure on the top of their heads that they use to ram or impress mates with. And a quick fact, turns out Stygimolochs are actually not an official species of dinosaurs. In fact, they are actually younger pachycephalosaurs. You see, the scientists at InGen, when they were cloning these creatures, they were also cloning Dracorexes, not knowing that they were actually just younger individuals of Pachycephalosauruses. Because when Pachycephalosauruses grow up and get older, their heads will become even more round and their spikes will dwindle, causing them to become larger and bulkier as they get older. But the scientists at Jurassic World decided to clone these creatures and keep them at this pre-adult stage, allowing them to become their own separate genus of a pachycephalosaur. And it was kind of worth it, because they are quite magnificent creatures still, despite them not actually being a dinosaur. Stygimolochs, when it comes down to mating season, they do get wild. You see, around every year, mating season, when it comes, these males will engage in a vicious fight for the in charge of mating. I'm really sorry for that stuttering. The males will engage in a vicious fight by banging their heads together and trying to topple one or the other over, just like ceratopsians. It seems like this male right here is missing an eye, as you can see. So this younger male has his work cut out for him. But the older male is making it clear he's not giving up his 50-year amounts of reproduction with the females. The younger male, being powerless, he gives up and submits the power to the older male. However, what makes them unique is that, unlike other creatures that are usually banished after a battle like this, thankfully the male is more generous. He'll let his opponent stay in the herd, as long as his opponent keeps in line, and as long as opponents don't break the rules by trying to mate with other females even though they lost the battle to try and have that right. Until then, they can be freed to live in this herd, as long as they follow and submit to the orders of the alpha. Of course, like many creatures on this island, they are ovigerous, meaning they lay eggs. As you can see, this female has a clutch of 3. She has currently laid them in a nest located in the plains, making them almost perfectly camouflaged to make sure predators cannot get any ideas of having a scrambled breakfast. And sadly, once these eggs are laid, the entire herd is nest-bound for the next month until the eggs finally hatch. So until then, the herd is going to be waiting here for the next month in order for these eggs to hatch. Sadly, however, they have to deal with the struggles, not just the elemental ones, but sadly, the predatory ones. An Atrociraptor has spotted the eggs, but she is mainly interested in taking on a Stygimoloch for more food. Now you see, Stygimolochs, even when they are rivals against one another, sometimes they will actually help out each other and decide to actually defend all of themselves against a single predator that makes a foolish decision to try and make a meal out of one of these interesting dinosaurs. As this Atrociraptor foolishly doesn't know that, she attacks. As it looks like it's the end for this young male, the older male comes and saves him from this vicious attacker. That's when the two males seem to team up on this poor Atrociraptor. The Atrociraptor, now knowing that this is too dangerous for her, she instantly leaves. However, what happens when we up the ante in terms of the predator's size and power? A Yangchuanosaurus has heard the commotion, and so he is deciding to check it out. And now he wants a piece of Stygimoloch pie. Now you see, Stygimolochs are prey animals, meaning they rely on their keen senses to avoid predators, like this attacker right here. They rely on their sight and smell, and once they smell out or see a predator, they will do something quite magnificent to save their own herd, and eggs, actually. In order to see this display, we have to wait for this Yangchuanosaurus attack, and it looks like it's now. However, for the poor Yangchuanosaurus, a meal is not as easy as what it seems. As soon as it's spotted, or as soon as they hear a predator threat that's too big for them to take down, the Stygimoloch that spots it will then signal out to the rest that there is a threat. Once he or she does do that, it'll cause all the others to run. Now you see, because the Yangchuanosaurus is too big and too strong for these Stygimolochs to take on, they have to book it, and that's why they are deciding to run. Because you see, if that Yangchuanosaurus was the size of the Atrociraptor earlier, then the Stygimolochs would have a better chance of defending themselves. But sadly, the Yangchuanosaurus is too big for them to take on head-on, so it looks like they'll have to run instead. And run they do, because Stygimolochs will continue running until the predator eventually gives up and gets tired. The male is fooled, and so sadly, he walks away empty-handed. After which, the herd will return back to the original position where the eggs are. They'll not only serve as a distraction, but sadly, in some sad cases, there have been cases where the predator, they would actually prefer the eggs over them. So it's times like these where they possibly might have to sacrifice their brood in order to save the rest of the herd from a vicious threat like that. And so, that is why, sometimes in life, these creatures have to make sacrifices in order to achieve the ultimate survival. And thus, that is why Stygimolochs are quite an incredible creature living on this island.